Hello and welcome. You've found your way to another quiet journey into the past. This is a space where history unfolds slowly, gently, like the steady flow of a river. A place where stories are told not to excite, but to calm. Where you can listen, drift, and, if you wish, fall asleep among the voices of long-forgotten lives. Close your eyes and imagine a land that seems eternal. A ribbon of water flowing through an endless desert. A river so vast and so generous that an entire civilization rests upon its banks. This is the Nile, and around it, the world of ancient Egypt slowly awakens. You are about to take a journey. Not a hurried one, not filled with the noise of battle or the shouting of kings, but a quiet wandering through lives long gone. The lives of farmers and queens, builders and scribes, priests and pharaohs. A journey through daily routines, through mystery, through contrasts of wealth and struggle. In this world, the river decides everything. It brings the soil, the harvest, the rhythm of time itself. Each year, when the waters rise, the land transforms. Floodplain becomes fertile field, and hope returns with the grain. Each year, when the waters fail, hunger walks quietly among the villagers. Imagine living by that rhythm, dependent not on choice, but on the slow breathing of the Nile. You are not a tourist here. You are not a visitor peeking in from the safety of centuries. You are part of this land. You wake when they wake. You eat what they eat. You fear what they fear. And as you close your eyes tonight, you will drift with them into their world. Let us begin at dawn. The air is still, carrying the faint scent of damp earth, reeds, and smoke from last night's embers. The stars are fading. A pale line of gold rests on the horizon. Somewhere, a rooster cries. A dog stirs. In a small mud brick house, a farmer rises. He is tired, as he is every morning, yet he moves because he must. His world is shaped not by desire, but by necessity. We will walk beside him. We will feel the press of the sun, the bite of the insects, the endless ache of labor. We will share his bread, his garlic, his water drawn from the Nile. We will listen for the overseer's voice, and we will bend when he bends, cutting and lifting until the day is long. Later, we will step into the life of a queen, a woman who called herself Pharaoh. Hatshepsut, builder, traveler. Her reign shines bright, yet her name was nearly erased, scratched from monuments by those who followed her. We will walk through her story, her triumphs and her silence, and then we will wander into the desert where stone giants wait. The pyramids, they are older than empires, older than kings remembered today. Were they tombs, symbols, or something more? Workers once lived beside them, carving stone, hauling blocks, leaving behind broken tools and tiny jars that speak more clearly than legends. We will listen to those fragments, those mysteries. Finally, we will step into a palace. The life of a pharaoh unfolds here, not a farmer's toil, but the silence of polished halls, the scent of incense, the sound of sandals echoing on stone floors. Marriage among siblings, rituals before gods, the burden of appearing divine. Luxury, yes, but also the strange weight of power. This is our journey tonight. Not a story of battles and conquests, but a slow passage through lives ordinary and extraordinary, familiar and distant. Ancient Egypt was never a single tale. It was thousands upon thousands of days, lived by millions whose names are forgotten, and by a few whose names are carved in stone. So breathe slowly now, settle into stillness. You are about to cross the centuries. You are about to walk the banks of the Nile, and you are about to discover what it was really like to live in ancient Egypt. Imagine yourself, not here in the present, but far back in time. 4,000 years ago, perhaps even more. You are no longer surrounded by modern walls or soft bedding, but instead you lie on a reed mat placed directly upon the earthen floor of a mud brick home. The mat is woven from stalks gathered by the riverbank. It is rough, uneven, and leaves faint impressions against your skin. There are no pillows to cradle your head, no cushion to soften your back. The blanket covering you is only a thin piece of linen, light enough to keep the cool night air from chilling you, but flimsy against the coming heat of day around you. The walls are thick, pressed together by hand, made of Nile mud and straw dried under the sun. Their surface is uneven, showing the marks of fingers that shaped them. Small cracks line the corners where the earth shifts and the bricks dry too quickly. When you breathe in, you smell the earth itself, dry dust clinging to the air, mingled with the faint scent of smoke left from last night's fire. The home has absorbed centuries of these smells, dust, smoke, sweat, and river water, all blending into a fragrance that is at once ordinary and unchanging. The night has almost ended. The stars outside still cling to the sky, but a pale light spreads quietly along the horizon. You stir, slowly, because there is no bell, no clock, no sudden command to wake. Instead, the rhythm of this world is guided by nature. Dawn calls you to rise, as it called those before you, and as it will call those after. You shift on the mat, the fibers pressing against you. Beneath, the ground feels cool from the night air. When you sit up, your muscles protests. Sleep here is not gentle, and your body is never fully rested. Still, you rise, because this is the way of life. Everyone rises with the sun, because daylight is too precious to waste. In the dim light, you notice the low ceiling above, built from palm trunks and coated with layers of mud. Small gaps allow slivers of light and dust to drift down. A spider has made its home in one corner, its web faintly trembling as air moves through the cracks. The household is stirring with you. You hear soft movements, the shifting of mats, the muffled cough of a child, the gentle murmur of a mother's voice soothing them back to calm. Someone moves a heavy clay jar, and the scrape of pottery echoes through the small space. These sounds are ordinary, yet they mark the beginning of another day, just as they did yesterday, and just as they will tomorrow. Beyond the doorway, faint noises drift in. A rooster calls out, stretching its voice against the fading night. A donkey brays, its cry echoing through the village. Dogs bark distantly, joined by the bleating of goats. Slowly, a chorus rises the village itself, awakening house by house. Voice by voice, you stand, stretching and walk carefully across the floor. Your bare feet touch the uneven surface. Here cool and packed, they're loose and gritty. Against the wall sit the household's possessions, few but vital. Clay jars sealed with mud and straw hold grain, the family's treasure. Smaller pots contain oil or dried herbs, or beer brewed in the last week. A basket rests nearby, filled with onions and garlic, pungent in the morning air. At the far side, someone crouches by the hearth, coaxing a small flame back to life. They blow gently upon the embers, sparks glowing red before flaring into flame. A thin line of smoke drifts upward, sharp and biting to the nose. Soon it will fill the home, coating the ceiling in a haze. But this is the cost of warmth and food. You hear another sound, the scrape of stone against stone. A woman sits by a grinding quone, pushing a heavy stone across another to crush grain into flour. The rhythm is slow, steady, unchanging. She grind. This sound is as ancient as the civilization itself, repeated day after day, year after year. It is a sound every household knows, every ear grows accustomed to. From this labor comes bread, the heart of every meal. The bread is unlike the soft loaves of your own world. It is coarse, dense, heavy, made from emmer wheat, baked on flat stones. It carries grit from the grinding process, tiny fragments that wear down teeth over years of eating. You will chew slowly, carefully, swallowing hard. Yet you are grateful for it, because without it, there would be nothing. Breakfast is simple. A piece of bread dipped in a small dish of oil, perhaps an onion, sharp and biting. If the family is fortunate, a few dates may be added, sweet, sticky, soft against the teeth. These are precious, a reminder that the Nile provides not only survival, but also small pleasures. You sit cross-legged as the food is passed around. Each person eats quietly, not because words are forbidden, but because energy is saved. The morning meal is fuel, not ceremony. Water is poured from a clay jar, still cool from the night. The vessel is rough at the rim, chipped from years of use. The taste is earthy, carrying faint traces of the jar itself. You drink slowly, because water is life, and though the Nile provides, it must be drawn and carried, and every drop is valuable. When the meal is finished, preparations for work begin. You tie a linen kilt around your waist. The cloth is coarse, woven by hand, bleached pale beneath the sun. It hangs lightly, giving your body some relief against the heat that will soon rise. Others in the household prepare two women, fastening their dresses, smoothing their hair with water. Children clutching small baskets, eager to follow their parents into the fields. Each person has a role. Each person's effort contributes to the survival of all. The sounds outside grow louder. Neighbors call to one another. Doors open across the village. Chickens scatter in the dust, flapping their wings. Donkeys are led into the lanes, their hooves striking the packed earth with dull thuds. The entire village begins to move as one body, every household rising with the sun, every family walking toward the river and the fields. You step outside. The sky is pale, streaked with gold. The air carries a coolness that will not last long. Soon the heat will descend and shade will vanish. But for now, the morning is gentle. The smell of damp soil rises from the ground, mixed with the faint sweetness of flowers blooming near the riverbank. You pause, drawing in a deep breath. The Nile is near you, cannot yet see its wide waters, but you sense it in the moisture on your skin, in the call of birds that circle above, in the faint shimmer of light beyond the fields. The mud brick house stands behind you, simple yet sturdy, a shelter against the desert beyond. Before you lies the day-long, repetitive, demanding. You know what awaits, the bending of your back in the fields, the endless rhythm of labor, the weight of grain that must be harvested, counted, and delivered. Yet for this moment, you linger in the stillness, savoring the brief pause between night and work. Every morning feels the same mat, the same bread, the same smoke, the same walk into the fields. Yet this sameness is the rhythm of life itself. Your parents lived it, your grandparents before them, and your children, too, will wake to the same smells, the same sounds, the same rising sun. Imagine yourself there, standing in the doorway of your mud brick home. The cool air brushes against your skin. The light is soft, not yet harsh. The world is quiet, but stirring. The Nile breathes nearby, steady, eternal, unchanging. And you know that this day, like all the others, is only beginning. The sun has now risen fully, and with it the day begins in earnest. You walk toward the fields with others from your village, each step pressing into the packed earth, leaving faint traces that will vanish beneath the afternoon wind. The air is already warming. The coolness you felt at dawn slips away quickly, replaced by the steady rise of heat that will rule the day. Above you, the sky is wide and endless, an unbroken blue that offers no comfort, no shade. There are no trees here, no tall buildings, nothing to shield you from the sky's relentless stare. The journey to the fields is not long, yet it feels endless. Dust rises around your ankles, clinging to your skin. Sand crunches between your toes, rubbing raw with every step. Donkeys groan under the weight of baskets filled with tools. Children walk beside their parents, half asleep, carrying small bundles, their eyes heavy but their feet moving out of duty. Everyone walks the same path, morning after morning, generation after generation, and then the Nile appears, wide, glittering, eternal. The river is not only water, it is life itself. Without it, there would be nothing but desert and death. Its floodwaters bring the soil, its fish feed the hungry, its reeds provide mats and baskets and roofs. You know this deeply, not as an idea, but as a truth written into every breath you take. The river decides everything. Along its banks, workers already gather. Some fill jars with water, lifting them onto their shoulders with effort. Others wade into the shallows, guiding cattle toward the fields. The sound of voices carries men shouting, women calling to children, animals braying in complaint. It is chaotic, but it is the order of life. Soon you too step into the fields. The soil here is dark, rich with the gifts of the flood. Your task begins. You bend, always bending. Your back curves forward, your hands reach down, your fingers grasp at stalks. Whether it is the planting season or the harvest season, the motion is the same. Bend, reach, cut, lift. Over and over, again and again. The heat rises quickly. By mid-morning, the air feels heavy, pressing against your skin. Sweat gathers on your forehead, drips into your eyes, stings with salt. You wipe it away with the back of your hand, but it returns instantly. Your linen kilt clings to your body, damp and uncomfortable. The sun does not forgive. It burns your skin, reddens your shoulders, scorches the top of your head. You cover yourself with a piece of cloth, but still the heat seeps through. The insects awaken with the sun. First the flies, buzzing endlessly around your face, crawling at the corners of your mouth, landing in your eyes. You wave them away, again and again, but they always return. Then the mosquitoes, sharp and biting, leaving behind itching welts. Near the cattle, swarms of gnats rise from the mud, clouding the air. You breathe through your teeth to keep them out, but still they slip inside, bitter against your tongue. The animals struggle too. Oxen pull heavy plows through the soil, their hooves sinking deep into the mud. They snort, flick their tails, shake their heads against the insects. Donkeys bray, refusing to move forward until struck with a stick. Even the animals suffer beneath the sun, but they work because they must. just as you do. Time moves strangely in the fields. Each moment stretches long, as though the sun has paused high above, refusing to shift. You lose sense of hours. Only your body tells the truth. The ache in your back, the dryness in your throat, the sting in your eyes. You labor until your muscles tremble, until your hands blister, until your feet feel heavy as stone. And still the work continues. Sometimes you pause to drink. The water is warm now, drawn earlier from the Nile, carried in jars. It tastes of clay, of earth, of river silt. Yet you drink deeply because thirst is dangerous. Too little, and the sun will take your strength. Too much, and the jars will empty before the day ends. You ration carefully, taking only enough to keep your mouth wet, your body moving. Food, when it comes, is simple. A hunk of coarse bread, hard at the edges. A clove of garlic, sharp and pungent, meant to drive away illness. Perhaps a dried fish, if fortune has been kind. You eat quickly, sitting on the ground, dust clinging to your food, grit crunching between your teeth. There is no feast, no pause, only fuel for more labor. The overseer walks among you. He carries a stick, not always raised but always present. His voice calls out commands. Faster, straighter, more careful. He watches to ensure that the work is done, not wasted. If you falter, his eyes find you. If you slow, his voice grows sharp. And though he is only a man, in this place he feels like the sun itself, inescapable, unrelenting. The hours stretch on. The fields shimmer in the heat. Dust rises with every step, every motion. You bend and lift, bend and lift, bend and lift. Your body becomes the motion. Your mind drifts, half asleep, half aware, caught between exhaustion and persistence. You dream with your eyes open, but your hands continue their work. Sometimes a breeze stirs. It comes from the river, cool and sudden, brushing against your face like a blessing. For a moment, you close your eyes and let it wash over you. The sweat cools. The flies scatter. The heat lessens. And then, as quickly as it came, the breeze fades. The air grows heavy once more, and the sun presses down again. By midday, the world is blazing. The sky is merciless. Shadows vanish. The earth seems to shimmer, waves of heat rising from its surface. Your head feels heavy, your body sluggish. Yet you keep moving, because stopping is not allowed, and because stopping means hunger. Every stalk you cut, every basket you fill, every jar you lift it, all leads to bread on your mat, oil in your jar, life for your children. The rhythm of the work consumes the day. Step by step, bend by bend, you move through the endless fields. And as you do, you realize something. This is not only your day. It was your father's day before you. It was your mother's day before you. It was your ancestors' day, stretching back beyond memory. Each one bent beneath the sun, swatted the flies, swallowed the dust. Each one labored as you labor, and each one passed the burden forward as you will too. The fields do not change. The river does not change. The work does not change. Only the hands change yours today, your children's tomorrow, and their children after them. This is the eternal rhythm of life by the Nile. Endless fields, endless heat, endless days, and still you continue. Because there is no other choice. Because survival demands it. Because this is what it means to live here, in this world of sun and soil and river. The sun has begun its slow descent, and with it, the rhythm of the village changes. All day, the Nile's banks have been alive with work. The men and women in the fields bent over stalks of grain, cutting and tying bundles, carrying baskets heavy with harvest. The air was hot, full of dust, buzzing with insects. But now, at last, the light softens. Shadows stretch long across the ground, and the people of ancient Egypt begin to return to their homes. Imagine the sound, sandals slapping against dry earth, the faint clink of tools being set down, tired voices calling out to one another as families gather again after hours apart. A donkey brays in the distance. Dogs bark, then settle. Children laugh for the first time since morning, no longer pressed into chores, free for a brief hour before sleep. Inside the small mud brick houses, the evening meal is being prepared. The homes are modest, with walls of sun-baked clay, often only a single room or two. In the corner, a small hearth glows faintly as a woman kneels beside it, coaxing a fire back to life. The smell of smoke mixes with the sharper scent of garlic, onions, and leeks. Bread dough, flat and rough, is pressed by hand and placed against the hot surface of the hearth. The bread blackens at the edges, soft in the middle. It will be eaten with vegetables, perhaps a few dates, or if the family is fortunate, a bit of fish caught in the river. This is not a feast. For most Egyptians, meals were simple, repetitive, and sometimes scarce. Beer thick, cloudy, and nourishing fills clay jars. Children sip it as readily as adults, for it is safer than river water. Bread and beer, day after day. These two humble staples carried generations. Step outside for a moment. The village itself is alive with new sounds. Women chat as they pound grain, their rhythm steady and hypnotic. The thump of stone against mortar repeats like a heartbeat, steady and sure. A group of boys chase each other through narrow lanes, kicking up dust, their laughter echoing. A baby cries, soothed by a lullaby sung in a language that feels both strange and familiar. As the light fades, colors deepen. The golden glow of the setting sun reflects off the Nile, turning the water to bronze. Reeds sway gently at the river's edge, and a fisherman pulls in the last of his nets. His catch is small tonight, only a handful of fish wriggling against the woven fibers. He sighs, grateful, yet knowing it may not be enough. Hunger is always close, just beyond reach, waiting for the river to falter. And then comes the night. The stars appear slowly, as if painted one by one onto the darkening sky. The air cools at last, carrying with it the scents of damp earth and smoke. In the village, lamps are lit, simple clay bowls filled with oil, a wick of twisted fiber burning with a wavering flame. The glow is dim, but in the deep desert darkness, even a small flame feels powerful. It is at night that stories are told. Gathered in doorways, families sit together. Children lean against their parents, their eyes wide as elders speak of gods and kings, of battles and myths. The stories are not read from books. They are carried in memory, spoken aloud, alive in the breath of the storyteller. A tale of Ra, the sun god, who sails his boat across the sky each day, only to battle the serpent of chaos each night. A tale of Osiris, lord of the underworld, who once ruled as a king upon the earth before being slain by his jealous brother. These stories are the thread that ties each generation to the next, the fabric of belief woven into every life. As you listen, the weight of the day fades. The ache of muscles, the burn of the sun. The endless repetition of work, all of it, softens in the glow of the firelight and the comfort of familiar voices. The night is a time of peace, yet also of mystery. For in the silence between stories, in the vast dark stretching beyond the village, lie fears that no one speaks aloud. Jackals cry in the distance. Their sharp voices rise and fall, carried on the wind. The people listen and pull their children closer. The desert is alive at night, and not all its inhabitants are friendly. Hyenas prowl, snakes slither unseen, scorpions hide beneath stones. And always there is the river. Its slow, steady murmur fills the background, both a comfort and a warning. Before sleep, prayers are offered. Some whisper thanks to the gods for the day's survival. Others murmur requests: more grain, more rain, protection from illness. In every home, small shrines rest against the walls, figures of clay or stone representing protective spirits, ancestors, or powerful gods. A flicker of flame before a carved figurine, a quiet word, a bowed head. Religion is not a separate act here. It is life itself, woven into each breath, each meal, each hope. Now the village grows quiet. One by one, the fires die down. The children, already half asleep, are carried to mats woven from reeds, spread across the floor. Adults lie beside them, wrapped in simple cloth. The air is cooler now, a gift after the heat of the day. Though mosquitoes still whine near the ears of the weary, silence deepens. Only the river remains, whispering in the night, its surface shimmering faintly beneath the stars. The villagers drift into sleep, their dreams filled with gods and spirits, with hopes for harvest and fears of famine, and so ends another day. Not a day of glory, not a day of monuments, but a day lived quietly by people whose names are lost, yet whose lives shaped the foundations of one of history's greatest civilizations. As you close your eyes with them, you too drift into the timeless rhythm of ancient Egypt, work and rest, light and dark, life and death, all bound to the endless flow of the Nile. As the Nile's evening waters settle into quiet reflection, and the villagers drift toward sleep, the palace remains awake in its own rhythm. Within the cool stone walls, the distant echo of the river blends with the faint rustle of linen and the whisper of footsteps across polished floors. Here, in the heart of Egypt's most sacred halls, a child begins her journey toward an extraordinary life that will one day bend the course of history. Her name is Hatshepsut. Imagine her small figure moving through the grand courtyards of the palace. Sunlight falls in slanting beams across the smooth limestone, painting shadows that stretch and dance across the walls. The air smells faintly of red mats, fresh linen, and a whisper of incense left from morning offerings. Servants and attendants drift past in quiet obedience. The soft tap of their sandals on stone, a gentle percussion that marks the passing hours. Hatshepsut's eyes, bright and curious, follow each movement, each subtle ritual. From her earliest days, she absorbs the palace as a living organism, a place where every detail, every repetition carries meaning and consequence. Education for a royal daughter is both subtle and strict. She learns to read and write, tracing hieroglyphs across rough papyrus, the reed stylus smooth yet firm between her fingers. She practices the curling lines of the falcon, the careful cross of the ankh, the coiled rope that signifies eternity. Each stroke of ink is deliberate, each symbol a lesson not only in communication but in power. For in Egypt, To know words is to wield influence. To record history is to shape it. Even as a child, she begins to understand that knowledge is not just information, it is authority. And authority is survival. Alongside this learning, Hatshepsut absorbs the stories of her ancestors, the myths that shape her culture, the deeds that define her family. She listens to tales of gods and kings, of battles won and temples built, each recounted with calm precision, a measured rhythm that makes the extraordinary seem familiar. The stories are repeated again and again, as if by constant iteration they will root themselves in her mind, become inseparable from her sense of self. She learns that Egypt is more than land and water. It is a network of rituals, expectations, and eternal connections, all flowing as predictably as the Nile itself. As she grows, Hatshepsut is introduced to the roles she will one day inhabit. Royal life is filled with protocol. Marriages are arranged, alliances forged, and every step measured to ensure stability. She becomes the wife of her half-brother, Thutmose, not for affection, but for political balance. Within this union, she begins to navigate a delicate landscape of authority and influence. She learns how to observe, how to act, how to align with tradition while quietly cultivating her own understanding of power. Each movement, each word, each gesture is a lesson in control within the palace walls. The world is both magnificent and fragile. Kings fall ill. Children inherit thrones too early. When Thutmose II dies unexpectedly, a young heir, Thutmose III, is left in the care of the court, still too small to rule. Hatshepsut steps forward as regent, a guardian whose role is ostensibly temporary, yet whose presence shapes the course of the kingdom. At first, her power is indirect, exercised through guidance and counsel. She teaches the boy rituals, oversees offerings, monitors the bureaucracy, but slowly, imperceptibly, influence solidifies into authority. In Egypt, power grows quietly, in layers, through repetition, approval, and subtle maneuvering. Imagine her in the temple at Karnak, incense curling through the air, priests chanting in unison, the walls glowing with the warm light of oil lamps. Hatshepsut stands beside her young charge, directing the proceedings, ensuring every rite follows its prescribed pattern. The boy is visible, yes, but she is the steady hand that guides him. To the common people, the image is of continuity, of divine order preserved. To the palace insiders, it is a carefully woven network of loyalty, ritual, and preparation for the day she will claim the full mantle of power. One of the most remarkable tools she employs is the story of her divine birth. Sculptures and inscriptions tell of Amun visiting her mother, declaring that Hatshepsut is born of divine will. Through this tale, she claims authority not as a mere mortal, but as one ordained by the gods. Repetition of this story, in temples, in public rituals, in carved reliefs, gradually transforms perception into acceptance. Every depiction, every recited line, reinforces the notion that her reign is both inevitable and sanctioned from above. Step by step, she moves from regent to ruler. At first, she shares the throne, appearing as co-regent alongside the boy king. Gradually, she assumes royal titles, commissioning images and monuments that depict her as a pharaoh. In statues, she wears the traditional crown, the ceremonial false beard, the kilt and scepter of kingship. These images are repeated endlessly across stone walls and temple pylons. In Egypt, repetition is a form of certainty. The people see her as king because they are shown her as king over and over again. And yet, her rise is delicate. Within the palace, whispers circulate. Some doubt, some resist. A woman ruling alone disrupts the expected order. But with patience, rituals, ceremonies, and the quiet authority of daily action, she strengthens her position. Each offering she presents, each temple she orders built, each dedication carved in her name reinforces legitimacy. Her reign is constructed meticulously, deliberately, one ritual, one monument, one image at a time as night falls. Imagine Hatshepsut walking through the palace corridors, oil lamps flickering softly. The stars above the Nile glimmer, and the river murmurs in the distance. She pauses, reflecting on the weight she bears. Mother to a child king, guardian of a dynasty, sovereign in her own right. Every day is a test, every decision a delicate step along a path lined with ritual, perception, and divine expectation. Yet she moves forward with calm determination, each choice weaving her legacy, each day reinforcing her authority. Her rise is like the slow, steady flow of the Nile itself. It cannot be rushed. Each ripple, each reflection, each subtle movement contributes to the river's inexorable advance. And so, step by careful step, Hatshepsut grows from a child within the palace walls into a ruler whose name will echo across time. Etched in stone, remembered for generations. A testament to quiet ambition, patience, and divine orchestration. Imagine the palace in the early morning, long before the sun has fully risen over the Nile. The air is still cool, the soft breeze carrying scents of the river, of lotus, and of freshly baked bread from nearby kitchens. Hatshepsut walks through the vast courtyards, the polished stone warm beneath her feet, her presence commanding yet composed. The palace is alive with quiet movement, servants tending fires, priests arranging offerings, scribes preparing papyrus scrolls. Every sound, every motion, resonates within the rhythm of a kingdom guided by ritual, ceremony, and careful administration. From the very beginning of her reign, Hatshepsut recognized that ruling Egypt was both a practical and a symbolic act. She understood that the essence of kingship lay not only in appearances, but also in the meticulous orchestration of governance. Each day, she convened with her viziers, priests, and military officials. They discussed the allocation of grain from the fertile Nile banks, the maintenance of irrigation canals that sustained countless fields, and the timing of festivals that intertwined civic duty with religious devotion. These conversations, while seemingly routine, were the lifeblood of the nation, connecting the needs of common people to the divine authority embodied by the Pharaoh. Now picture Hatshepsut observing the construction and decoration of her monumental projects. Her reign is remembered most vividly for its architectural wonders. The mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari rises in serene terraces against the cliffs of Thebes. Imagine her walking slowly through the stone halls, examining each carving and relief, noting the placement of inscriptions that tell of her divine birth and her journey to power. The artisans worked diligently under her careful guidance, chiseling hieroglyphs with patient precision, sculpting figures that convey both majesty and ritual significance. Every stone, every detail, serves to reinforce the sacred narrative of her kingship, a narrative that is both public spectacle and private devotion. Alongside these grand structures, trade becomes a vital extension of Hatshepsut's vision. She commissions voyages to the distant land of Punt, seeking myrrh, incense, and exotic goods to enrich both temples and palaces. Imagine the ships gliding down the Nile, sails catching the morning wind, oars slicing through the water with rhythmic precision. Merchants and sailors work in coordinated harmony, guided by the Pharaoh's careful planning. The exchange is more than material, it is a statement of influence, a signal that Egypt reaches beyond its borders, that its ruler commands respect both near and far. Daily governance, however, is rarely so spectacular. It is woven through countless small decisions, resolving disputes over property, ensuring the collection of taxes, monitoring the performance of officials, and overseeing the equitable distribution of resources. Picture Hatshepsut reviewing records with her scribes, the surface of the papyrus rough beneath her fingers, the faint scent of ink in the cool palace air. Names are read aloud, figures compared, reports discussed. Each choice, however ordinary it may appear, ripples outward, shaping the lives of farmers, craftsmen, and laborers across the kingdom. She rules with a steady hand, aware that even minor missteps could disturb the delicate balance she has so carefully cultivated. Consider the daily ceremonies that intertwine governance with divinity. Every morning, Hatshepsut participates in rituals that honor the gods, reaffirming her role as their earthly representative. Priests chant in long, measured tones, incense curls through the columns, and the golden light of oil lamps dances on carved relief. These rituals are not mere spectacle. They are acts of legitimacy. Through repetition, Hatshepsut's authority is continuously reinforced, both in the eyes of her subjects and in the eternal records of stone and papyrus. Her participation is deliberate, calm, and meticulous, embodying the quiet rhythm of power as a daily practice. Trade expeditions to punt offer moments of intrigue and wonder. Ships return laden with fragrant resins, exotic animals, and rare timber. The palace bustles with activity as these treasures are catalogued, stored, and distributed. Picture Hatshepsut observing the arrival of these goods, the vivid colors of woven fabrics, the rich smell of myrrh and frankincense, the soft fur of animals not native to Egypt. The success of these ventures demonstrates her ability to combine economic strategy with diplomatic acumen. Through these carefully orchestrated journeys, the wealth of distant lands flows into her kingdom, bolstering temples, supporting artisans, and legitimizing her reign. Yet Hatshepsut's rule is not solely focused on splendor and wealth. She faces practical challenges and unexpected pressures, including managing resources during periods of low Nile floods, addressing local disputes, and overseeing the implementation of labor for building projects. Imagine the careful planning required to organize thousands of workers, farmers turned laborers, craftsmen, and builders, all coordinated to achieve grand visions without collapsing the delicate social or economic order. She must balance the demands of ambitious architectural projects with the well-being of the population, ensuring that life continues steadily along the Nile, that the rhythms of planting and harvest are uninterrupted at the same time. Her presence is constantly a reminder of continuity and stability. Portraits and statues depict her in full regalia, ceremonial beard in place, headdress firmly settled, gazing calmly and authoritatively toward the horizon. These images are repeated across temples, tombs, and public spaces, each reinforcing her legitimacy. The repetition is subtle yet effective, in a culture where images communicate power as clearly as words. These visual affirmations are essential. Through them, Hatshepsut's authority is woven into the very fabric of Egypt, both visible and enduring as evening descends. Imagine Hatshepsut walking through her palace gardens, the air fragrant with lotus and jasmine. The Nile glimmers in the fading light, casting gentle reflections across the terraces. She pauses to observe the courtyards where servants and officials carry out final duties for the day. The palace is alive with quiet energy, but also with the assurance of order. Every lamp lit, every record checked, every offering placed in its proper location contributes to the steady heartbeat of governance. Here, power is measured not in dramatic gestures, but in the careful orchestration of daily life, in the repetition of rituals, and in the calm, deliberate application of authority. Night falls fully, and Hatshepsut retires briefly to her private chambers. Yet even in these quieter moments, she reflects on the vastness of her responsibilities, the prosperity of Egypt, the welfare of her people, the continuity of her dynasty. Her rule is a living tapestry, interwoven with temples, trade, governance, and ritual. Each day reinforces the structure she has built. Each night preserves it in thought, in planning, in the quiet certainty that she is both the guardian and the architect of Egypt's enduring legacy. As the warm sunlight stretches across the Nile Valley, casting long, gentle shadows upon the sands and mud-brick villages, the reign of Hatshepsut comes into fuller focus. By this time, she has established herself not just as a ruler, but as a vision of stability, strength, and divine purpose. Her actions ripple outward across the kingdom, touching the lives of ordinary citizens, priests, merchants, and craftsmen alike. Imagine walking through the terraces of her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, the smooth limestone under your feet, each surface engraved with images of rituals, offerings, and voyages. Here stone and story converge, capturing the essence of her reign in calm permanence. The cultural achievements of Hatshepsut are not solely monumental in size. Though the terraces of her temple rise in layered grandeur against the cliffs like a harmonious echo of the natural landscape, each terrace tells a story in visual language, priests presenting incense, her sailing to distant lands, sacred ceremonies conducted with meticulous devotion. Close your eyes and feel the rough texture of the carved stone beneath your fingertips. Smell the lingering scent of incense. Hear the distant murmur of the river far below. Every relief, every hieroglyph, is a rhythm of repetition, a meditation in stone, ensuring that her memory endures through centuries, guiding the eyes of those who follow. Hatshepsut's insistence on long distance trademarks another remarkable aspect of her legacy. The expedition to Punt, in particular, remains vivid in the collective memory. Picture the journey: sleek vessels gliding along the waters, sails catching the wind, oars slicing quietly through the river's gentle currents. On board, merchants and sailors move in quiet harmony, balancing goods, securing cargo, and navigating unfamiliar waters. They carry incense, myrrh, exotic animals, resins, and timber items, not only of material wealth, but of symbolic significance. Upon their return, the palace hums with activity. Merchants record, priests offer blessings, artisans prepare displays. These exchanges reinforce Egypt's reach, Hatshepsut's vision, and the subtle but undeniable presence of her authority across continents within the kingdom. Hatshepsut's governance intertwines with culture in ways that are both subtle and enduring. She commissions works of art, supports craftsmen, and nurtures the continuity of Egyptian religious life. In temples, the rhythm of offerings continues daily, the soft brush of fingers on linen, the faint aroma of flowers and oil lamps, the measured cadence of chants echoing across stone corridors. By participating in these rituals, she ensures that her authority is experienced not only as power but as sacred presence, embedding herself within the spiritual fabric of the land. Even her image is carefully considered. Statues depict her both as a pharaoh and as a woman who defies expectation, a visual harmony of power and subtle grace. Observe, if you will, the smooth contours of her sculptures, shoulders squared, headdress in place, ceremonial beard perfectly aligned, the calm authority in her eyes. These images are repeated throughout temples, tombs, and monuments, forming a constant, reassuring pattern. For centuries, these visual reminders shape perception, guiding both the populace and posterity in understanding her reign. The legacy of Hatshepsut extends beyond stone and trade. Her policies maintain the stability of the Nile's agricultural cycles, ensuring that farmers, like those whose daily lives we observed in segment 1, continue to harvest grain reliably, that canals are maintained, and that irrigation flows evenly across the lands. Each decree, carefully considered, ripples through the population with quiet impact. Imagine the sound of water gently trickling through canals, the soft rustle of crops swaying in the breeze, the hum of workers tending the fields. Each act a testament to governance that balances authority with daily life, monumental ambition with the rhythm of ordinary existence. Hatshepsut's mortuary temple, while a monument to herself, also serves as a sanctuary for the gods, a center for priests, and a repository for ritual continuity. Picture the gentle light filtering through columns, illuminating painted reliefs, casting long shadows across the smooth floors. Priests move silently, performing the same actions as generations before, offering incense, pouring libations, reciting chants that echo endlessly. Hatshepsut's role in these ceremonies is not performative. Alone it is integrative, embedding her presence in every repetition, every rhythm, ensuring that her authority is inseparable from sacred tradition. The artistry of her reign extends to the smallest details as well. Fine jewelry crafted under her oversight bears symbols of protection, prosperity, and divine favor. Vases and ceremonial objects display intricate carvings, telling stories of voyages, victories, and offerings. Every brushstroke, every chisel mark is a meditation, a repetitive affirmation that links ruler, gods, and people in enduring harmony. Her attention to these subtleties reveals a ruler who understands that legacy is built not only in monumental feats, but also in the persistent, quiet shaping of culture, symbol, and daily experience. Even after her passing, the echoes of Hatshepsut's reign persist, though later rulers attempted to erase her from historical records. The structures she built, the policies she implemented, and the cultural continuity she fostered remained tangible. The terraces of Deir el-Bahari stand as a calm testament to her vision. The inscriptions of trade and diplomacy speak to her foresight and meticulous planning. Through stone, papyrus, and ritual, her influence continues to flow, much like the Nile itself, quietly sustaining the life of the land, guiding the rhythm of centuries. Consider now the subtle rhythm of her legacy as it intertwines with daily life. Farmers rise with the sun, workers toil along canals, artisans shape materials with steady hands, priests chant in measured tones, unaware, perhaps, of the singular figure whose careful governance and cultural foresight make these ordinary rhythms possible. Hatshepsut's achievements are felt quietly, persistently, in every measured step, every repeated ritual, every stone laid with intention. Her power is not only in monuments or decrees, but in the seamless, gentle orchestration of life itself, flow as inevitable and calming as the Nile's waters. As night falls over the valley, imagine walking slowly through her temple terraces, the stone smooth beneath your hands, the air still, fragrant with lotus and incense. Shadows stretch across reliefs, depicting her life and divine favor, while the distant river murmurs below. Each step you take is a meditation on continuity, stability, and the gentle, enduring imprint of a ruler who shaped her world with patience, vision, and quiet authority. Her story, told over centuries, repeats like a gentle chant, lulling the mind with the rhythm of history, the calm persistence of order, and the quiet certainty that even great power can be administered with grace and subtlety. And so, Hatshepsut's reign, remarkable yet serene, monumental yet measured, continues to flow through the corridors of time. Her temples, her trade, her governance, and her cultural vision remain enduring markers of a pharaoh who understood that lasting influence is built not in haste or spectacle alone, but in the patient, consistent unfolding of authority, devotion, and wisdom. Imagine yourself walking along the arid plateau of Giza, the sun low on the horizon, casting gentle amber light across the sand. The air is dry, carrying a faint hint of river mud from the Nile miles away. Before you stretch rows of simple stone and mud brick dwellings, the villages that once housed the laborers, responsible for the construction of the pyramids. These are not the palaces of kings or the temples of gods. They are humble, functional spaces, built to support the immense human effort required to create one of the world's most enduring mysteries. Step softly among the narrow lanes between homes. The walls are sun-baked, slightly cracked, and warm to the touch, radiating the heat of the day. Inside, simple mats cover the floors, pots of water rest in shaded corners, and the faint aroma of bread baking in small clay ovens drifts through the air. Smoke rises slowly from cooking fires, curling into the blue of morning. You notice the quiet rhythm of life children playing in small groups, women carrying water from the nearby wells, and men moving deliberately as they prepare for a long day of labor. This is a world structured by necessity, not grandeur. The workers' routines are governed by the sun, the river, and the rhythm of labor. Early in the morning, men gather in small groups, inspecting the tools that will aid them in lifting, shaping, and transporting massive limestone blocks. Wooden sledges, ropes, and copper chisels are checked with care. Each item is essential. Even the smallest misalignment could disrupt the progress of the pyramid. Imagine the feel of the rough rope in your hands, the cool metal of the chisel, the sand crunching underfoot as you move carefully along a narrow path between stacked stones. There is a quiet discipline here, a repetition of motion and gesture that is both meditative and necessary for survival. In this demanding environment, meals punctuate the day, simple but sustaining. Bread, rich in coarse grains, is accompanied by onions, lentils, and occasional fish from the Nile. The aroma of cooking fires blends with the faint scent of sweat and stone dust, creating a sensory tapestry that speaks to endurance, labor, and routine. The workers eat in groups, conversing softly, their words harmonizing with the rhythmic sounds of tools against rock, the distant murmur of oxen, and the faint clatter of sledges over compacted earth. Their conversations are not hurried. They move at the deliberate pace of those who understand that life, labor, and survival are intertwined in calm, measured cycles. Consider the social organization within these villages. Laborers are grouped according to skill: masons, haulers, surveyors, and artisans, each performing their tasks in coordination. Supervisors, often experienced craftsmen themselves, walk the rows, checking alignment, ensuring safety, and coordinating the placement of each block. Imagine the soft murmur of instructions, the slight echo of a command along a line of workers, the subtle signals of movement that communicate task and timing without raising voices. The flow of labor is seamless, almost musical in its rhythm, a choreography of precision born of necessity and repetition. Health and welfare are carefully considered, as much as a society of this era allows. There are designated areas for rest, rudimentary medical care, and storage of water and food. Injuries are treated with the resources available: herbal pastes, bandaging with linen, and quiet observation by fellow workers. You notice the gentle care with which they tend one another, the small acts of human kindness that soften the harshness of physical toil. The routine is harsh but tempered by communal bonds, shared purpose, and the subtle knowledge that their labor contributes to something timeless, enduring beyond the limitations of any single life. The worker villages also reveal the broader structure of ancient Egyptian society. Farmers often participated in construction during the inundation season when their fields lay underwater, temporarily unable to grow crops. This seasonal rhythm meant that laborers were deeply tied to the cycles of the Nile. Their work not only a matter of duty but of ecological synchronization. Imagine the landscape transforming with each flood, the river spilling across fields, and the workers moving between their homes and the monumental construction site in seamless harmony with natural rhythms. Artisans leave subtle marks in the stone that reveal both pride and craft. Carvings, graffiti, and inscriptions are found in workers' quarters and nearby quarries, indicating names, tasks, or small expressions of individuality. These simple records, though often overlooked, provide a window into the human experience, the quiet sense of self that persists amidst monumental labor. Imagine tracing these marks with your fingers, feeling the worn edges of symbols left thousands of years ago, connecting directly with those who toiled patiently to erect structures that would endure beyond their lifetimes. As the sun rises higher, casting a soft glow across the plateau, workers are absorbed fully in their tasks. You can hear the rhythmic scraping of stone, the measured commands of supervisors, the soft rustle of sand shifting under heavy blocks. This is not chaos, but orchestrated effort, a living testament to human endurance, organization, and calm persistence. The scale of the pyramids is matched only by the quiet rhythm of daily life that brought them into existence, rhythm that is patient, meditative, and enduring. By midday, the heat rises, the sun warms stone and sand alike. Yet the workers continue with steady focus. Water is offered in clay jars, shade is sought under temporary shelters, and the rhythm of work continues with deliberate care. Each action is a repetition, a measured step contributing to a monumental pattern. Every block, every chisel mark, every coordinated movement reinforces the human capacity for patient achievement. Evenings in the village are gentle. The sun dipping low, casting a soft orange glow across the plateau. Workers retreat to their homes, fires are lit, meals are shared, and quiet reflection follows. Laughter and conversation mingle with the fading sounds of tools and animals. Imagine walking along these narrow streets as shadows lengthen, feeling the warmth of the day linger in sun-baked walls. hearing the soft sigh of the wind across sand, witnessing the balance between labor, routine, and quiet human connection. The villages are more than staging grounds for monumental construction. They are living systems, reflecting organization, care, and repeated practice. Each day repeats itself with slight variations, creating a rhythm that is both practical and meditative. The pyramids, massive and enduring, are the visible result of countless repeated actions, decisions, and careful coordination of human effort. In observing these villages, we glimpse the unseen labor that anchors monumental achievement, the quiet persistence that underpins grandeur, and the subtle humanity embedded in structures that have stood for millennia. As the golden light of morning stretches across the Giza plateau, casting soft, elongated shadows along the smooth faces of the pyramids, we step closer to their imposing yet serene presence. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the fine grit of desert sand beneath your feet, and the faint, ever-present breeze carrying whispers of centuries. These stone giants, precise in their proportions and placement, invite quiet contemplation, a gentle reflection on human ingenuity in harmony with nature and the cosmos. The scale of the pyramids is astounding. Imagine standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, the sheer size overwhelming in its calm majesty. Each limestone block, carefully cut, transported, and positioned, fits perfectly into a massive, enduring pattern. The edges align with remarkable precision. The sides are almost perfectly straight, and the corners form angles so exact that modern measurements confirm their extraordinary accuracy. You can almost feel the patience, skill, and care invested in every stone. A rhythm repeated day after day by laborers whose work was meticulous, measured, and purposeful. This precision extends beyond simple geometry. The alignment of the Great Pyramid with true north is nearly perfect, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of celestial movements. Imagine ancient astronomers standing under a night sky filled with stars, measuring the position of Orion, the circumpolar stars, and other key constellations. Their eyes trace the heavens slowly and deliberately, recording movements with simple but effective instruments, ensuring that the earthly monument reflects the order and rhythm of the cosmos. The connection between the celestial and the terrestrial is subtle but profound, offering a quiet harmony that reassures both those who built the structure and those who would gaze upon it for generations. Consider the internal passages and chambers of the pyramid. Ascend the narrow, low corridors, and notice the coolness of the stone, the subtle echo of footsteps, and the faint aroma of ancient plaster and stone dust. These interiors, carefully designed and constructed, are not chaotic or haphazard. Each passage, each chamber, serves a dual purpose, practical as a burial space and symbolic as a pathway to the afterlife. Imagine the thoughtfulness behind every alignment, every angle, and every corridor length. These measurements were not only for physical stability, but also to ensure that the Pharaoh's journey into eternity reflected cosmic order and divine favor. The ritual significance of the pyramids is deeply intertwined with their architecture. Picture priests performing ceremonies in the quiet chambers, the soft glow of oil lamps flickering against the limestone walls. Their chants, low and measured, reverberate gently, echoing in deliberate repetition through the corridors. Offerings of food, drink, and incense are presented in a precise, measured sequence, each act reinforcing the pharaoh's connection to the gods and the enduring stability of the kingdom. You can imagine the soft, rhythmic movement of hands arranging items, the faint scent of incense curling slowly upward, the calm ritual repeating day after day, generation after generation, the external terraces and causeways of the pyramid. Complexes also reflect careful planning and symbolism. Imagine walking along the gently sloping paths leading to temples, the smooth stone beneath your feet, the sun casting intricate patterns across carved reliefs. Each terrace, each pathway is aligned to emphasize the pharaoh's divine journey, a connection between earth, river, and sky. The symmetry and harmony are intentional, creating a sense of calm order. A meditation in stone that reassures the observer of the continuity of life, governance, and cosmic balance. Even the materials used in construction carry meaning and intent. Limestone, granite, and basalt are chosen not only for durability, but for symbolic resonance. The smooth casing stones of the Great Pyramid once gleamed in the sunlight, reflecting light as though the monument itself radiated divine energy. Imagine the artisans polishing each stone with careful, repeated motion, creating surfaces that caught the eye and the mind alike, guiding attention gently upward toward the heavens. The repetition, precision, and intention in every step of construction serve as a quiet reminder that human effort can achieve harmony with nature and cosmos through patience, care, and discipline. Astronomical alignment extends beyond mere orientation. The shafts within the pyramid, some leading upward toward specific constellations, suggest a careful consideration of the pharaoh's spiritual journey. Imagine the measurement, the observation, the repeated calculations necessary to ensure that these passages corresponded to stars that would guide the soul toward eternity. Each stone placed, each corridor carved, resonates with symbolic intention. The rhythm of construction mirrors the rhythm of the heavens, creating an enduring connection between human labor and cosmic order, a quiet meditation on time, effort, and the natural world. The precision achieved is remarkable, considering the technological tools of the time. Simple copper tools, wooden sledges, ropes, and clever use of manpower created structures that continue to endure, astonishing modern engineers and historians alike. Imagine coordinating hundreds, perhaps thousands, of workers to lift massive stones, align surfaces, and maintain tolerances so exact that modern instruments can barely detect deviation. The effort is immense, yet the environment is calm, rhythmic, and measured, each action deliberate and repeated in harmony with the larger plan. Equally important is the role of ritual repetition in reinforcing authority and cosmic alignment. Daily offerings, structured sequences of prayer, and meticulous placement of ceremonial objects all contribute to a sense of enduring order. Imagine standing quietly within a temple. The faint flicker of lamplight on carved reliefs, the repeated, soothing cadence of chants, and the soft scent of incense mingling with the cool stone air. Each act, each repetition, reinforces both spiritual and temporal stability, creating a rhythm that mirrors the careful geometry of the pyramids themselves. As night falls, imagine observing the pyramid under a sky of stars, the silhouette calm and still, aligned with constellations that have guided human attention for millennia. The desert is silent, save for the soft whisper of wind across stone and sand. Each shadow, each angle, each corridor carries subtle information, inviting reflection and gentle meditation. The pyramids are not merely tombs. They are orchestrations of human labor, celestial knowledge, and ritual precision, designed to harmonize the physical, spiritual, and cosmic realms. In contemplating their design, we also consider the lives of those who built them: laborers, artisans, supervisors, and priests, all engaged in deliberate, repeated tasks that echo the rhythms of the universe. Each stone placed, each ritual performed, each alignment carefully measured contributes to the calm, enduring presence of the pyramids. They are monuments not only of grandeur, but of patience, order, and the quiet persistence of human endeavor. Finally, the pyramids remind us of the subtle power of repetition, precision, and harmony. Their enduring presence, calm geometry, and celestial alignment create an almost meditative rhythm, inviting the observer to move slowly, breathe deeply, and absorb the quiet majesty of human achievement, synchronized with the cosmos. The mystery remains, yet it is gentle, a comforting rhythm across millennia, connecting labor, ritual, and observation into a continuous, serene experience. As the sun casts a soft, golden glow across the sands of Giza, imagine yourself standing before the Great Pyramid, gazing up at its towering, calm silhouette. The structure appears timeless, almost serene in its stillness. Yet beneath the smooth stone surfaces lie hidden chambers, secret passageways, and spaces that have fascinated explorers, archaeologists, and dreamers for millennia. These concealed spaces, often undisturbed, invite contemplation and gentle curiosity, offering a window into the spiritual and ritual life of ancient Egypt. Begin your quiet journey within the pyramid's interior. Descend through narrow corridors, your footsteps muffled by the cool, solid stone beneath your shoes. The air is still and slightly cooler than the desert outside, carrying a faint, earthy scent of limestone and ancient plaster. You may notice the subtle echo of your own movement, a soft reminder of the vastness and stillness that surrounds you. Here, the hidden chambers beckon, their purpose shrouded in centuries of mystery. Some may have been designed for storage, others for ritual, and yet others, possibly as symbolic representations of the Pharaoh's journey toward eternity. Imagine the soft, deliberate rhythm of craftsmen carving and polishing these spaces thousands of years ago. Each block carefully placed, each corridor measured, each chamber shaped with intent. The labor was precise, unhurried, and infused with ritual significance. The construction itself was a meditation, a repeated sequence of actions performed with skill and patience, ensuring that the Pharaoh's resting place would endure not only physically but spiritually. The pyramid becomes more than stone. It becomes a vessel of continuity, a bridge between earthly existence and the divine. The burial rituals conducted within and around these chambers reflect deep beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. Picture priests in flowing linen robes moving quietly through dimly lit corridors, arranging offerings of bread, wine, and incense with meticulous care. Each gesture is deliberate, each placement precise. The soft flicker of oil lamps illuminates hieroglyphics etched into the walls, symbols of protection, guidance, and divine favor. The air carries the faint aroma of incense, mingling with the cool stone and the subtle warmth of the desert sun filtering through small openings. These rituals, repeated daily or seasonally, reinforce the Pharaoh's connection to the gods, to the cosmos, and to the rhythms of eternity. The concept of the afterlife guided every choice in the pyramid's design. Chambers were positioned to correspond with celestial alignments, perhaps to facilitate the Pharaoh's journey among the stars. Imagine the careful observation of the night sky, the patient tracking of Orion, Sirius, and other constellations, translating these cosmic patterns into architectural precision. The shafts and corridors leading toward the heavens suggest a profound understanding of the relationship between earth, spirit, and the celestial realm. Each hidden chamber, whether discovered or still concealed, embodies a belief in the continuation of existence beyond the temporal world. Artifacts within these spaces offer further insight into the spiritual life of ancient Egypt. Burial goods, such as finely crafted jewelry, ceremonial vessels, and symbolic amulets, were intended to accompany the pharaoh into the afterlife. Imagine handling these objects with gentle care, feeling the smoothness of polished stone, the weight of metal, and the intricate patterns engraved by skilled artisans. Each item serves as a repeated gesture of devotion, an enduring symbol of protection and sustenance for the journey beyond life. Consider also the role of hieroglyphic inscriptions, carefully carved to ensure both accuracy and aesthetic harmony. These texts often recount the pharaoh's deeds, divine connections, and instructions for navigating the afterlife. Picture the patient scribe, reed, brush in hand, ink applied with measured strokes onto papyrus or stone. Each repetition of symbols reinforces memory, belief, and order, echoing the consistent rhythm of labor, ritual, and cosmic alignment observed throughout the pyramid complex. The inscriptions are not hurried messages. They are meditative repetitions, affirming continuity and divine favor. The layout of hidden chambers reflects the careful orchestration of space, intended to safeguard the pharaoh and the sacred knowledge entrusted to the afterlife. Narrow corridors, false doors, and secret rooms are strategically placed, sometimes to confuse or deter intruders, sometimes as symbolic passages for the soul's journey. Imagine exploring these spaces slowly, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingertips, the gentle echo of each movement, and the quiet resonance of a design intended for both protection and spiritual transition. Each architectural choice embodies calm deliberation, reflecting the rhythms of human thought, belief, and repeated action. Ritual offerings extended beyond objects to include symbolic gestures. Softly spoken prayers, gestures of purification, and the careful arrangement of food and drink create a layered experience of devotion. The priest's actions, repeated over centuries, establish patterns that echo through time, allowing future generations to experience the rhythm of sacred life. Imagine the gentle murmur of chanting, the soft rustle of linen robes, and the flickering of lamplight reflecting off polished surfaces, creating an immersive, meditative atmosphere. Even the pyramid's alignment with natural features is purposeful. The Nile, the desert horizon, and the plateau's contours were carefully considered to create a harmonious setting. Visualize standing at the entrance as sunlight illuminates the polished casing stones, casting reflections and soft glows across the desert floor. Each stone, each shadow, and each corridor contributes to a serene, ordered environment designed to reflect cosmic balance, ritual intention, and human persistence in contemplating these hidden chambers and burial rituals. One also considers the psychological and social dimensions. The repetition of actions, the precision of measurements, and the careful arrangement of space all create a calming, predictable order. Workers, priests, and artisans all participate in a measured, meditative rhythm that reflects both personal devotion and societal cohesion. Every block moved, every lamp lit, every inscription carved is part of a larger, enduring pattern. Finally, imagine the pyramid at night, the desert cool and silent, stars glimmering above. The hidden chambers remain still, the air heavy with the weight of centuries. Offerings long ago performed continued to echo in memory. Rituals preserved in stone and spirit, the repetition of careful, deliberate human effort resonating through time. The Great Pyramid and its concealed spaces invite quiet reflection, gentle curiosity, and a contemplative sense of connection between past, present, and the eternal rhythms of life and afterlife. The enigma of the pyramids is not one of fear or urgency, but of calm wonder. Their hidden chambers, intricate rituals, and meticulous alignment with both human and cosmic cycles create a meditative space in which history, architecture, and belief converge. As you drift through these thoughts, imagine the cool corridors, the flickering lamps, the precise movements, and the serene order of a civilization that understood the subtle power of repetition, harmony, and careful intention. The mystery endures. Yet it is gentle, comforting, an endlessly instructive rhythm of stone, ritual, and celestial alignment that encourages reflection, calm attention, and an immersion in the timeless flow of history. Imagine yourself slowly approaching the grand, sun-warmed walls of an ancient Egyptian palace. The light glances off sandstone facades, softening their edges, and the faint scent of incense drifts from open doorways. Birds move lazily across the sky, and the distant murmurs of servants, courtiers, and priests blend into a gentle, continuous hum. Within these walls, life is meticulously organized. A careful rhythm of daily rituals, official duties, and social observances. Step quietly inside and notice the cool, shadowed corridors, the smooth stone floors, and the soft tapestry of sounds that form the backdrop of a pharaoh's life. The day begins early. Imagine the pharaoh rising from a bed of fine linens, perfumed with subtle oils. Attendants quietly assist, brushing hair, anointing skin, and dressing the ruler in layers of linen that have been folded, pressed, and prepared with care. Each garment is symbolic, reflecting status, divine favor, and societal expectations. Soft sandals are placed upon the feet, and jewelry is selected not merely for adornment, but for protective, ceremonial, and aesthetic purposes. You can almost feel the delicate weight of these adornments. The cool metal against the skin, the faint scent of aromatic oils, the quiet efficiency of attendants performing familiar, repeated tasks with practiced grace. Breakfast is simple yet deliberate, often consisting of bread, fruit, honey, and water, served in bowls of polished clay or carved stone. Every meal is imbued with ritual significance. Imagine the pharaoh sitting quietly, the warm morning light filtering through lattice windows, attendants moving softly to serve food, and the gentle clinking of vessels punctuating the calm air. Eating is not rushed. It is a measured act, repeated day after day, connecting the pharaoh to rhythm, order, and societal stability. The morning continues with administrative responsibilities. Imagine reviewing matters of governance, receiving reports from viziers, scribes, and regional governors. Decisions are deliberated with calm consideration, each decree recorded in precise hieroglyphs for posterity. The pharaoh's schedule is structured and rhythmic, balancing attention to domestic, civic, and ceremonial obligations. Courtiers approach with petitions, diplomats with offerings, and priests with guidance. The interactions are formal but not hurried. Each step a practiced performance reflecting social order and divine responsibility within the palace. Ritual is as vital as administration. Imagine the pharaoh participating in morning offerings at the private chapel. The air is filled with a gentle fragrance of incense, flickering lamps casting soft shadows across carved reliefs. Prayers are offered to gods associated with fertility, justice, and the sun's journey across the sky. Every gesture, every bow, every repeated phrase is part of a deliberate, soothing rhythm that affirms continuity, spiritual alignment, and cosmic balance. The pharaoh's life is deeply entwined with these ceremonies, connecting earthly rule with divine favor, stability, and order. Entertainment and artistic engagement are integrated seamlessly into daily life. Music, recitation of poetry, and quiet performances occur in chambers with acoustics designed to enhance their subtle resonance. Imagine soft harp strings vibrating, the gentle lilt of voices blending with the calm architecture, and the muted clatter of sandals along stone floors. These moments are not meant for exuberance, but for reflection, calm, and appreciation of refined skill. Art and ritual are intertwined, establishing a rhythm that grounds the pharaoh's life in measured sensory experiences. Meals, rituals, and administrative duties are punctuated by private reflection and consultation with advisors. Imagine quiet courtyards filled with flowering plants, shaded by papyrus and palm fronds. The pharaoh may walk slowly along stone paths, feeling the warmth of sun-baked tiles underfoot, observing water gently moving in small channels, listening to the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. These walks are deliberate, meditative, a rhythm of movement and thought that balances the demands of authority with the need for contemplation. Consider the education and consultation aspects of palace life. Scribes and scholars present new knowledge, mathematical calculations, and seasonal reports with deliberate calm. The pharaoh receives these with measured attention, asking questions gently, responding thoughtfully, and ensuring that governance proceeds with order and foresight. Each meeting, each consultation, is a ritual of structured repetition, reinforcing authority and societal stability without urgency or alarm. The pharaoh's court is also a center of diplomacy. Envoys from distant lands arrive, bearing gifts, requests, and messages. Imagine their soft-footed approach through wide, shadowed halls, the gentle clink of ornaments and ceremonial attire. The pharaoh receives these visitors with formal courtesy, observing protocol and ceremonial order, maintaining a composed and steady demeanor. Communication is measured, deliberate, and unhurried, each word part of a larger rhythm connecting kingdoms, trade networks, and alliances in a subtle, persistent flow. Throughout the day, the rhythm of palace life intertwines labor, ritual, reflection, and observation. Each action is repeated, refined, and observed with care, attending ceremonies, reviewing plans, speaking with officials, walking through gardens, or quietly observing the flow of water and light. The pharaoh's life is one of serene repetition, structure, and alignment with cosmic and societal rhythms. A calm orchestration of daily experience that mirrors the precision and order seen in the pyramids themselves. Evenings are gentle. Meals are served in quiet chambers. Lamplight flickers softly. Music may accompany reflections on the day, and ceremonial offerings are performed again, connecting the pharaoh with gods and ancestors. The cadence of light, scent, sound, and movement creates a soothing, meditative environment. Each evening reinforces order, stability, and calm, creating an enduring rhythm that defines the life of the pharaoh, the palace, and the wider society that relies on this subtle, constant authority. The life of a pharaoh is not simply power and opulence. It is measured repetition, ritualized awareness, and structured immersion in the rhythms of society, nature, and divinity. Imagine this life as a continuous flow of carefully considered actions, sensory observations, and gentle interactions. The grandeur is quiet, the authority calm, and the entire experience suffused with subtle, contemplative order. Through this lens, we see the pharaoh not as a distant, dramatic figure, but as the axis of a carefully orchestrated society, a presence that harmonizes human labor, cosmic alignment, and cultural ritual into a serene, enduring rhythm. Imagine yourself again walking through the quiet corridors of the royal palace, the sandstone walls glowing softly in the warm light of early afternoon. The air is infused with faint aromas of incense, perfumed oils, and blooming papyrus in the courtyard gardens. Here, the life of a pharaoh unfolds not only through public duties, but also within the intricate weave of personal relationships, familial obligations, and religious responsibilities. Each movement, each gesture carries purpose, repetition, and a sense of measured intention, creating a calm rhythm that governs the palace and, by extension, the kingdom. Marriage among royalty was both a personal and political instrument, carefully balanced between social expectation, divine symbolism, and consolidation of power. Imagine the pharaoh and their chosen consorts moving through ceremonial spaces with deliberate grace. Clothing is richly layered, yet soft. Linens carefully folded, adorned with subtle jewelry. The attire itself carries meaning, colors, patterns, and ornaments symbolizing fertility, protection, divine favor, and continuity of the royal line. Every detail is considered with calm precision, establishing a visual and symbolic order that reinforces the pharaoh's authority and societal role. Marriage practices within the palace often extended to close family members, sometimes even siblings, to maintain dynastic continuity. Picture quiet chambers where rituals occur with gentle ceremony, priests softly reciting blessings while attendants place symbolic offerings on small altars. The repeated gestures, the soft recitation of prayers, the delicate handling of ceremonial objects all contribute to a meditative rhythm that merges private life with the spiritual and political spheres. These actions are not hurried. They are measured, reflective, and designed to harmonize human relationships with cosmic and societal stability. Political power in the pharaoh's hands was subtle as much as it was grand. You might observe advisors, scribes, and priests presenting petitions or updates, walking softly across polished floors. The pharaoh receives each with deliberate attention, weighing decisions with calm thoughtfulness rather than urgency. Every decree, every instruction is delivered in a measured tone, reinforcing societal structure while maintaining an atmosphere of serene authority. Here, power is not loud or abrupt. It is embedded in ritualized interaction, structured repetition, and subtle demonstration of wisdom and prudence. Religious responsibilities were inseparable from both marriage and political authority. Imagine the pharaoh participating in temple rituals, the gentle flicker of lamps illuminating hieroglyphics on smooth walls. Each ceremonial act is repeated daily, seasonally, or at significant calendrical moments. Offerings of food, water, incense, and symbolic objects are performed with deliberate care, reinforcing connections to gods, ancestors, and cosmic order. The rhythm of these rituals mirrors the repetition seen in laborers' work on the pyramids and the careful alignment of stone, creating a pervasive sense of calm structure that suffuses palace life. Family dynamics within the palace also reflect measured interactions and subtle hierarchy. Children, often raised under careful supervision, participate in structured learning, observing rituals, and gradually learning the responsibilities of governance. Imagine the pharaoh moving through private chambers where tutors, attendants, and elders guide the young royals with gentle instruction. Each lesson, each observation, is designed to instill knowledge, discipline, and awareness of societal and spiritual rhythms. The repetition and consistency of these interactions create an enduring framework for future generations, quietly maintaining the dynasty's stability. Marriage alliances also extend beyond the palace walls. Diplomacy and political strategy intersect with personal relationships. Imagine envoys presenting gifts, communicating familial ties, or negotiating treaties while the pharaoh, calm and measured, receives each with ceremonial courtesy. These interactions, though formal, follow predictable patterns of respect, ritual, and observation. There is no rush. Every gesture, every exchange, every spoken word contributes to a gentle rhythm of continuity and balance. The palace becomes a stage of social choreography, harmonizing personal, political, and spiritual dimensions of life. Religion reinforces these dynamics further. Imagine the pharaoh attending sunrise rituals on temple terraces, soft chants filling the air, and offerings arranged with meticulous care. Attendants move in slow, deliberate sequences guiding each action with precision. The repeated cadence of ritual, from the placement of food and drink to the lighting of lamps, creates a soothing, meditative flow. These acts are as much about maintaining cosmic order as they are about demonstrating personal piety. The calm repetition fosters a tranquil environment, where the rhythm of action mirrors the rhythm of the heavens themselves. In private moments, the pharaoh may walk quietly through gardens or shaded courtyards, feel the warmth of sun-warmed stone underfoot, the subtle fragrance of flowers, and the gentle rustle of leaves. These walks are moments of reflection, repetition, and meditative observation. Even in leisure, every step and gesture aligns with a deliberate rhythm, echoing the cycles of duty, ritual, and harmony that define palace life. The pharaoh's personal and political existence is inseparable from the calm, measured structure that frames each day. Evening rituals reinforce these rhythms further. Softly spoken prayers, gentle music, and carefully arranged offerings mark the transition from day to night. The pharaoh's movements are slow and deliberate, the palace awash in muted light and quiet contemplation. Conversations with consorts, attendants, and advisors are measured, reinforcing hierarchy and stability without urgency or disruption. Each action contributes to an overarching rhythm of calm order, blending personal, political, and spiritual duties into a continuous flow that has endured across centuries. Ultimately, the pharaoh's life is a balance of subtle power, ceremonial repetition, personal connection, and ritualized governance. Each day unfolds with calm deliberation, structured by the measured actions of marriage practices, political engagement, and religious duties. Imagine this rhythm as a continuous, gentle current, guiding the palace, the people, and the broader kingdom in a steady flow of order, stability, and enduring harmony. The grandeur is quiet, the authority subtle, and the entire existence suffused with meditative repetition and serene intention. Imagine walking through the corridors of the pharaoh's palace just as the soft light of late afternoon filters through lattice windows. The air is warm, slightly perfumed with incense and flowering plants from the inner courtyards. Beyond the structured rituals, administrative duties, and ceremonial observances, there exists another layer of palace life, a subtle interplay of power dynamics, privileges, and contrasts between elite and common experience. Here, one can sense the rhythms of authority, comfort, and careful orchestration that define the existence of Egypt's highest echelons. The pharaoh's life is meticulously structured, yet not every aspect is bound by formal ceremony. Observe courtiers and advisors moving quietly through corridors, each mindful of hierarchy and protocol. Each gesture, from the soft bow of a vizier to the subtle nod of a subordinate, maintains the delicate balance of authority and respect. Imagine the measured pace of interactions, the calm cadence of conversation, and the gentle rustle of robes against polished floors. Privilege here is intertwined with obligation, and each member of the elite is aware that their comfort and influence are contingent upon maintaining the smooth rhythm of palace life. Luxury is present, but understated and purposeful. Picture finely woven linens, perfumed oils, polished stone surfaces, and carefully arranged furnishings that prioritize order, utility, and calm aesthetics over ostentation. Even the most lavish materials are employed to create a sense of harmony rather than excess. Imagine the feel of soft textiles beneath your hands, the coolness of polished stone underfoot, the subtle shimmer of gold and semi-precious stones arranged with precise symmetry. These privileges, while enviable, are structured, deliberate, and integrated into the daily rhythm of the palace, ensuring that comfort does not disrupt measured order. Elite meals and feasts exemplify the careful balance between indulgence and ritual. Imagine dining halls where attendants move silently, presenting food with deliberate grace. Bowls of fruit, bread, honey, wine, and roasted meats are served in sequence, each portion measured and arranged according to ceremonial norms. The atmosphere is calm, conversation is gentle, laughter subdued. Every action, from pouring a drink to placing a dish on a table, is part of a repeated pattern, reinforcing hierarchy, social cohesion, and meditative rhythm. Privilege here is inseparable from structure. Each meal, a microcosm of palace order. Power dynamics within the elite extend beyond daily routines. Consider the subtle negotiations, whispered advice, and careful observation that occur behind closed doors. Courtiers and family members often engage in strategic dialogue, assessing influence, alliances, and favor. Imagine the soft, deliberate exchange of ideas, each statement measured, each pause meaningful. Authority is exercised with restraint and reflection, maintaining stability and harmony. Every conversation is part of an unspoken rhythm, a dance of social order where privilege, responsibility, and hierarchy are carefully balanced. That education and cultural refinement reinforce elite status. Imagine quiet chambers where scribes, tutors, and artists provide instruction in mathematics, astronomy, ritual practice, and art. Music and poetry echo softly through hallways, blending with the distant hum of daily palace life. The pharaoh and consorts participate in these activities with calm attentiveness, engaging in repetition that reinforces knowledge, skill, and social cohesion. The rhythm of learning and refinement is steady, measured, and meditative, fostering an enduring sense of mastery, discipline, and calm assurance. Even within elite leisure, life remains structured. Imagine strolling through shaded gardens, the soft splash of water in fountains, and the gentle rustle of papyrus and palm fronds underfoot. Attendants maintain order, ensuring that every movement aligns with ritualized behavior and spatial harmony. Games, music, or quiet conversation are conducted with deliberate pacing, encouraging reflection and mindful observation. Privilege manifests not as indulgent chaos, but as controlled engagement with comfort, nature, and art, reinforcing the gentle rhythms of elite existence. The palace is also a microcosm of broader societal contrasts. While the pharaoh and elite enjoy measured luxury, artisans, laborers, and lower-ranking officials work within structured yet demanding routines. Imagine viewing the contrast from a balcony, observing courtyards where food, tools, and resources are distributed, pathways maintained, and communication flows smoothly. Privilege is visible in the calm, spacious chambers, in refined materials, in orchestrated rituals, yet it exists in harmony with the broader social network. The rhythm of the palace ensures that elite comfort does not destabilize the systemic order, creating a gentle balance between authority, service, and responsibility. Religious observances continue to define elite daily life. Imagine the pharaoh participating in sunset offerings or temple ceremonies, flanked by high priests and family members. Lamps flicker softly, incense curls into the warm air, and chants resonate quietly along polished stone corridors. Each gesture, repeated over years and decades, reinforces spiritual alignment, social status, and the subtle authority embedded in privilege. Even leisure, conversation, and movement through palace spaces carry a ritualized cadence, reinforcing calm structure, continuity, and cosmic harmony as evening falls. Imagine the palace settling into a serene rhythm. Servants prepare chambers for rest, lamps flicker in courtyards, and the sound of wind across desert sands creates a gentle backdrop. The pharaoh and elite move through familiar routines, quiet reflection, ritual offerings, measured conversation, and private contemplation. Privilege and authority are exercised gently, integrated with repetition and rhythm, forming a continuous flow of calm, measured activity. The contrast with the laboring population outside is evident. Yet both levels of society are bound together by the same principles of order, structure, and repeated, mindful action. Finally, reflect on the subtle power of this rhythm. Privilege, ritual, and hierarchy exist not in chaos or opulence, but in the gentle repetition of measured action. The palace, its residents, and the surrounding society function like a carefully orchestrated symphony where every note, gesture, and movement contributes to a calming, enduring structure. Elite life is serene, deliberate, and harmonious, a quiet testament to the integration of comfort, authority, and reflection in one of history's most remarkable civilizations. As the sun dips behind the distant sands of the Nile, take a slow, deep breath and let your mind linger on the quiet rhythms of ancient Egypt. Imagine the soft sway of papyrus along the riverbank, the gentle flow of water carrying life steadily forward, and the warm, muted glow of the desert sun as it settles toward evening. You've walked through mud-brick villages, witnessed the careful toil of farmers, and glimpsed the disciplined order of palace life. You've entered hidden chambers, observed sacred rituals, and followed the pharaoh through corridors of power and ceremony. Picture the farmers rising with the first light, tending fields, moving water, and repairing structures, their lives dictated by the ebb and flow of the Nile. Feel the rhythm of their labor, patient and enduring, as it continues season after season. shift now to the palace, where measured gestures, ritualized offerings, and deliberate interaction create calm harmony. The pharaoh moves with quiet authority, every action intentional, connecting people, place, and ritual into a serene flow. The hidden chambers of the pyramids invite quiet reflection. Feel the cool stone beneath your fingertips, the still air carrying centuries of repeated devotion, and the subtle alignment of spaces with the stars above. Every act, every gesture, every carefully laid stone reflects a deliberate, meditative rhythm, continuity that bridges human effort and cosmic order. Think of the palace again, where power, privilege, and refinement intertwine. Music drifts softly through shaded corridors, the scent of incense lingers, and conversations move with gentle deliberation. Privilege is quiet, thoughtful, and integrated with the careful structure of society. Every ritual, every meal, every lesson for young royals reinforces a rhythm of stability, care, and enduring harmony. Let these images settle softly in your mind. The smooth stone, the warm sun, the faint fragrance of incense, the rustle of linen, and the gentle lapping of the river. History's rhythms of labor, ritual, learning, and reflection carry a quiet lesson in patience, calm, and continuity. Allow these thoughts to flow gently over you, easing tension, quieting thought, and guiding you toward rest. And now, as the night embraces the Nile, the pyramids stand in still, enduring majesty, and the palace falls silent. It is time to release your day and drift into sleep. Good night, and may your dreams be calm, gentle, and filled with the enduring rhythms of this ancient world.